Koko Kuno Apo Pano Mama wanna get it nice. I know food I meso, I know food I tebe, I know kaya marigi. Kama kwe toti kom, wengere toti kom usasai. Kama kwe ano kaya marigi.
Kamba kwe uyo, ano tara mari, ano kaya mari, karai mamunzo. Paninya pano Zamnoda kunzwa Znotoro pano Madiko kumunzwa Mugovane.com Kamba kwe vanogaya mari vanotara mari vanosiya mari Kamba kwe vanotara fea kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei vanomuterere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere Kamba kwe vanogaya
Right. 26 July 2022. And today I'm joined by my usual guest from Botswana, Dr. Feddious Mutenheri. How are you, Doc?
I'm very well, Gambakwe. How are you? It's good to see you again after my last visit.
Fantastic. And your last video that you did was received very, very well. I think it's one of the most watched videos by CCC supporters. When you said Chamisa was going to win. Who says that kind of a thing, Doc?
It's the reality, Gambako. It is the reality. Yeah.
If Chamisa wins this election, I'm going to wear a dress. The way that guy is confused. Can you believe that today they had a logo, right?
I will hold you to that. I will hold you to that. I'll hold you to
that.
You wearing a dress.
The confusion in CCC is stunning. Imagine this afternoon, they announced the new logo. And then within 1 hour, they walked back on that logo. Similarly, they announced the shadow cabinet. They walked back on that cabinet. And it's not clear who is speaking for the party, Fadzai Mahere or Stalos. The confusion in CCC is shocking. And these guys, if they win this election or any other election, our country will be plunged into chaos. I've said this to you over and over, Doc.
Okay, Gambako, actually, it actually takes me to what I wanted to open with this evening, that I was actually watching your show, I think it's about 2 days ago, in which, in fact, initially you had penciled me to have a discussion with you, and your topic was that opposition, Zimbabwe opposition performing badly in by-elections. And I wanted to just say, it's only someone who is delusional who can say that, and also someone who has an obsession to see Triple C losing, because the headline should have been clear that Triple C yaenda nenyika, because they have been winning by-election after by-election, and the win is a win. The only thing probably that could have been for discussion is what are the lessons that they can take from there. And so we have to congratulate where people deserve to be congratulated, and we congratulate the Triple C for winning 2 by-elections. Secondly, again, I was also going through because that made me to want to go through your website, your Facebook page. Oh my God, Gambakwe. You know, I was looking at the very story you are talking about, and I thought, does Gambakwe live in another planet, in Jupiter, where there is a different reality? Because the new logo, which is actually a fantastic idea, there was clear explanation that one is a party logo and the other one will be used for elections. And I saw you stampeding on your Facebook page, trying to confuse everybody. I was almost confused to say, what is Gambakwe saying that there is confusion, or there is nothing, Gambakwe? I think one has to come to a sober mind and properly see what the Triple C is doing, and they will understand that they are on a right trajectory, man.
Okay, tomorrow I'm going to publish for you details of how Chamisa and his leadership team, including Magaisa, were involved with a consulting company in Harare. And these guys developed their logos and all this branding, and they actually didn't pay them. And these guys have gone to ZEC now to register CCC as a party. So this is one thing that I just want to show you. The CCC of Chamisa is making a comedy of errors. Like every day, they make a new error. And the way that they deal with third parties, that is the problem. Look what they did today. They announced the logo out of the blue. A logo is supposed to accompany other assets. They just came out with the logo from nowhere. No press conference, nothing. Just no explanation of what it is. Chamisa just tweets the thing. This is the problem.
That is exactly what we have said, Gambakwe. Look, I think conventional, most scholars of conventional politics are looking to Triple C doing their politics the usual way. Look, they say twice, once bitten, twice shy. The Triple C is aware of how ZANU-PF has treated it by using lawfare and this and that. And so people like yourself and others are going to expect that Triple C will do things in the normal way. I think it's high time we will have to realize that Triple C is going to do things in a very, very different way this time. And it was not out of the blue, they planned it. And so you must understand that this is the strategy. Yainzi apana strategy by ndo strategy actually which we are seeing unfolding. And I think a whole lot of people are waiting for the shocker, and the shocker will be coming very soon. So Gambagwa, it's not coming out of the blue, it's coming out of real planning.
Okay, Doc, I want to deal with that issue at another point. And today I want us to be very, very quick. The topic we're going to discuss today is very, very controversial. I've handled this topic multiple times in 2021. And you are seeing that I'm displaying the picture of Grace Mugabe here on the screen. We carried this story on 12 November 2019. And Grace Mugabe said, in 3 years' time, you will kneel before me. That is when she was thrown out, when she threw out some people from Mazoe farm. And I was wondering, why is Grace Mugabe saying this? And it's starting to make sense to me. I think if you say 2020, 2021, 2022, it's 3 years. And we're starting to see what I believe is the maneuvering of Grace Mugabe. She is a very, very tricky politician to deal with. And the issue I'm talking about here is the revelations last week in an almost 6-hour video and a bunch of tweets by a young lady called Susan Mutami. And as I said, I've carried this story. I've made almost 5 or 6 videos about Susan. And I've been following her. If you type Susan Mutami on our website, we've got no less than 100 stories on Susan. So after Chamisa, Susan is probably the second person that we follow the most on the website. Susan made a lot of allegations about a lot of politicians, journalists, intelligence, other women socialites. She made a lot of allegations. And she has apparently gone to Australia and made a report, a police report about a certain case there in Australia. In my view, Doc, this is not a simple matter. And I want to hear what you think about this matter without going into details. I don't want us to go into details in this case. I'm going to go into the details. I want to break down everything she said in a future episode. But what I want to focus on here is the gaps, the glaring gaps in her story. particularly, I have talked to people who know Susan Mutami, and they say that she knows Xavier Kasukuwere very, very well. In fact, one of the people I talked to said they physically met Mutami and Tyson. Then Grace Mugabe and the daughter, Bona, very close friends with Susan Mutami. Nelson Chamisa did meet with Susan Mutami. He's got a picture with Susan Mutami. But in all that she said, she did not mention these three people. Does it make sense to you that she would fail to mention the three people that are so prominent in all her revelations?
Gambakwe, unfortunately, I'm not even going to engage you on what I find to be a joke, firstly, and on what I find to be a diversion, on what I find to be a non-issue, especially as we go towards there are two important things that are coming through. One is the ZANU-PF Congress that should be coming later in the year, and then there is next year the election. So what we are seeing basically right now is jostling, it's planting of stories. What we are seeing, whether some of the things are true or false, like I said, I'm not even going to get into the nitty-gritty of the issue, but safe to say there are many takeaways from what we have just heard from this lady. Firstly, probably is that what we see here. Remember, I don't want to. I know her story has got glaring loopholes, but I don't want to get into that. But what we are seeing is that the continuation of ZANU-PF disintegration is fast tracking, because we have seen all these things where there are rumors about things happening in ZANU-PF being publicized, and gradually what we would see is some disintegration of the party or some splitting ever since the time of the Gamma talks, the Lacoste versus G40 and stuff like that. Secondly, here is another Baba Jukwa syndrome. 2 weeks ago, you were running with the story of Advocate Mahere, which I told you on this platform that this is another Baba Jukwa, because the people I want you to see the timing. Look at the people who were throwing that story, people like Edmund Kudzai, Professor Jonathan Moyo, very known ZANU-PF operatives. So here is another Baba Jukwa syndrome. The last time we saw Baba Jukwa, where people were captivated by what seemed to be, gossip and something brewing up within ZANU-PF. And in the end, you know what it did? Because Zimbabweans, I've realized that they love gossip. People get captivated. Zimbabweans are not amakua. So in the end, what they start to think, and the purpose of these issues which are brought out, is that it is meant to make Zimbabweans who are yearning for change to believe that probably change will come from within ZANU-PF when there is a sort of disintegration, when there are these cooked up stories and stuff like that. And what does it mean? The effect is that this diversion or this sideshow cause people to forget about mobilizing, about registering to vote, about doing the real thing and focusing on real issues. Now for the next months, we will be treated to this peril issue. I'll tell you that it is just what air. Whether there is some truth in some things that she's saying, I don't care and I don't know. Right. But again, what it does as well, if let's go by those who say it is true, what is being said, what it is simply doing is that it is exposing the dangerous, and I underline the word dangerous, factionalism that exists in ZANU-PF, which is the dangerous factionalism that has always led to its disintegration. existence of factions basically is not a bad thing, because it shows democracy. Ideas have to be, they have to be on the market even within one party. But in ZANU-PF, it's so dangerous that it comes out with these dirty expositions. And if you hear her, there is a lot of, it's like a movie style where this woman is bedding this one up to that one, and there's death of people and this and that, and it's part of the dangerous factionalism with ZANU-PF, and it's just an exposition of that, right? But again, most importantly, Gambaku, what this whole thing is doing is it is exposing them the moral decadence that Zimbabwe has become, and this sponsored by ZANU-PF, and here is a party that always pontificates on other parties, and particularly on the CCC, about moral probity, about how they should look into themselves. But look, if those expositions are anything to go by, it really is showing us that there is a dog eat dog within that party. And therefore, what does it do? It calls for all right-thinking Zimbabweans to look to hope, to look to a party that deals with issues rather than these funny issues. This lady, why is she coming on the public opinion, court of public opinion? Why didn't she go straight away to the courts? Why? And why was she coming in and out of Australia if she is not an operative? Like I said in the beginning, I told you that these are stories just meant to captivate Zimbabweans. They are nothing. Zimbabweans should just look the other side. They should just look the other side, right? And focus on CCC that is bringing out issues of the day. Like I highlighted the other time, that there are reforms that need to be dealt with right now. Reforms of an equal a media, in which the CCC can be allowed to, to say its policies on national television or national radio. Those are the current issues. Not issues about who slept with who. I told you when we were discussing Mutenheri that these issues in Zimbabwe at this current juncture, we don't care about that. What we care about is, but we already know that ZANU-PF rot, the ZANU-PF decay is so much that I think volumes and volumes of books can be written about it. And don't tell us about that at the election. Right now, the volume we want to read is the economic volume, the volume of the economy, to tell us what are they doing. Look, the ombudsman, the office of the ombudsman, I've forgotten, what do they call it now? He has just said the government was trying to hide a 10 billion expenditure that was made for nothing. Those are the issues that are up for discussion right now. The economy today, they were was it yesterday when they were unveiling the gold coin, and all economists who know what they are saying this is another form of corruption, and people are going to regret if they ever buy into this thing. These are the issues that we should discuss, to say how should the economy be run right now, because surely Gambakwe, Zimbabweans are suffering. Zimbabweans are suffering because because women cannot even make ends meet. Workers, they earn paltry salaries. And for us to hear a girl who has slept with almost everyone, according to her admission, everyone in ZANU-PF, and she comes to the court of public opinion and wants us to sympathize. And Zimbabweans, please do not fall for this. These are issues which are trying to get her to veer us off. Because what's next? No, what's next is let's go and vote and select a leader that has got the moral character to lead the country, so that we can have a leader who can once again tell us how are families? How can families be run? How can young people be of walk the narrow and the straight in their lives? That's what we want to hear. And the leader is the advocate Nelson Chamisa. So far, he has shown everybody that he is ready to govern. He is ready to lead this country. And so, Gambakwe, I'm sorry that I'm not even going to get into into the nitty-gritty of what this lady is saying. This lady, I think, if she is sure about what happened and she has reported, I don't know how Australia is going to help her to report this issue. But what she is doing to spend 4 hours and 14,000 Zimbabweans watching and listening to that, it's totally hogwash. It's totally hogwash, and this is exactly what has taken Zimbabweans backward. That Zimbabweans do not focus on the real issues of registering to vote, of how to change the current regime and get better leadership, but they will focus on makua, on gossip, which will take us nowhere at all.
Okay, Doc, I'm very happy with what you've said, and I want us to wrap it up here. But I want to leave you with the words that I started with. That to me, this is not a small thing. To me, the way that Susan has gone on to tarnish the image of many, many people, I don't see it as a small thing. I see this as a calculated smear campaign, especially on President Mnangagwa, which I think is uncalled for. Because as far as I'm concerned, the issues that she's raising, firstly, they're coming from 15 years ago. Secondly, she has publicly denied these issues in public. She has had a fight with Simbachi Kanza over the same issues when she said he is lying about the very same issues that she's raising. And she was in Zimbabwe for a very, very long time. He had a baby with Themba Mliswa, or babies. She claimed she had 2, only to find out she's grew 1. She had a baby with SB Moyo, the late, and I had this long discussion. I made a long video about it before she even admitted to it. And my belief is that there is someone pulling the strings of Susan. And we are probably going to face a very, very dangerous situation as we move towards the 2023 elections, because some people are getting impatient. This is my feeling, that some people are getting impatient. They can't wait for 2023, and worse, they can't wait for the next election after that.
Very good, Gamba, which is exactly what I was saying when I highlighted the takeaways, which I said there are quite a few takeaways. And one point that I highlighted is that this obviously exposes dangerous factionalism within ZANU-PF. Of course, because there's a Congress coming, so the factions are positioning themselves. Remember, there is a ZANU-PF faction which is outside of ZANU-PF, some of whose members are domiciled somewhere in hiding, and of course, obviously there should be a rearranging of the deck. And what happens in ZANU-PF, let them deal with it. And obviously that's why the likes of Jonathan Moyo are beginning to make somersaults again. Of course, we know he's been on a roller coaster of somersaults. That guy never stops. He loves gymnastics, political gymnastics. So he's doing his somersaults. I hope he won't hit his knees or like he has done before. But he's changing because he's seeing an opportunity probably with one faction over the other. But their factionalism is very dangerous. And let them play it out. We have seen them do it. We have seen them do it. And we saw the likes of the Jonathan Moyos being chased out. And remember, these things, when they happen, they sometimes become so violent. Right now, go to Jonathan Moyo's Twitter. His pinned tweet says that, he talks of the gory and terrible and horrible situation that happened when he was running away. That is ZANU-PF for you. And Whether that episode is about to repeat itself, what we have always said is that ZANU-PF is a party in disintegration. And behold, the new is there. It's coming. So Zimbabweans should not be at all lullabied or captivated by this sideshow, because it always comes. It always comes. We know it. So that we think that what happens in ZANU-PF is what is going to save us. No. Zimbabweans, what is going to save them is for them to take action. To take action, firstly, by registering to vote and by going to vote on the day of voting and defending that vote. That is what is important for Zimbabweans right now. But this kind of information or these shenanigans that happen in ZANU-PF, will always hear them. And you know what it does? To us, it gives us false hope. Like right now, people have got false hope to think that something will happen to President Mnangagwa because of this. It's a shame if they think that. And people would think that something is going to happen. But what we know from what we have been seeing is that obviously there are strong factions within ZANU-PF, those who call themselves ZANU-PF Chayo Chayo, Vamuvanoti, the other ZANU-PF Lacoste has been taken over by the army. That we know, it's happening. That is why we are saying the alternative is there. The CCC is coming with proper policies. And they are even showing you to say, look into the GNU, what we have done. We are about to do it if you give us our vote in 2023. And then when that happens, we will forget about Ngano Zana Sarunga. I mean, it's Ngano Zana Sekuru Gudo, the Trikunzwana Mtami, and whosoever. Look, I shudder to even want to listen to her because the way she, look, the way she is hopping from one bed to another, and at times not even being forced. Why did she go to Australia and come back to be abused again? There's something about that woman that she's not saying to us. What is she telling us? You go.
Yeah, but Doc, let me ask you there. You don't want to answer the question that I raised. She was standing right next to Chamisa, and she did not say anything about that. She did not say why they met and what happened. What if... Yes, Doc, answer the question. What if she comes out in a month's time and says, Chamisa did this to me? What are you going to say now?
Exactly my point. The woman does not even have the moral integrity. Does she tell us she was forced by Temba Mulisa to write mwana? It's also now part of a character, or she is part of a... Does she tell us that she was forced to have a mwana with the late general? No, she says she wanted it. Does she tell us she was forced? And if ever she was to come and tell us any other, we now know, we can see through it. That's why I'm saying this woman is trying to drag the whole of gossip-loving Zimbabweans into thinking that she has some form of magic in which she pulls politicians from all the sides. Advocate Nelson Chamisa, he cannot refuse to be greeted by someone when they meet. And this woman now, like I've just told you, she is up to some nonsense. She's up to some nonsense, but me, I don't want to get into that nonsense. Safe to say Zimbabweans don't be captivated by this nonsense that she is talking about. Let them finish it. Kwavari koko. Vopedzerana ikoko. Isutoita zvekuvota. Let's organize, mobilize, galvanize, and prepare for the election that is coming in 2023. And Zimbabweans, let ZANU-PF deal with its factional battles, factionalism. We've seen it play out. Let's not be involved in it, because involvement in it will lead us to what happened in 2017, in which people supported what they thought was a real change coming, and only history to teach us that no, we should not have supported it. But because of the hatred we have for President Mugabe, the people loathed how he had run the economy, and they thought probably this was change. But the more things changed, the more they remained the same. In fact, the more they became even worse. So let's not even get involved in this. This is hogwash, which ZANU-PF should deal with by themselves, and all those who want change should totally pay a blind eye and refuse her views and likes on Twitter, which is what she wants, and then captivate us and think that this is because drugs. It's like my drugs.
Well, what I liked most was when she said Simbachikanza is being paid by ZANU-PF.
He gets himself bent over because you can never know where he is.
It's like Hopo Chingono is like a ZANU-PF. Doc.
No. In fact,
yeah, it's like if she wants to reveal that Hopo Chingono is like a ZANU-PF guy, and Simbachikanza is like those guys are making me laugh, like they like when you look at them, they want to look like they're the godfathers of democracy, and yet they're ZANU-PF.
No,
yeah.
Listen, Gabagwe, I know the people want to throw in confusion, but this is exactly where the Triple C led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa now is to maximize, because this is actually how ZANU-PF operates. Obviously, we are going to expect a long summer of these expositions, useless expositions, and they are brought to the public. Zimbabwe is under Facebook, not Twitter. And then we stay there, and then we hope, and then we insult, and then we do whatever. Yet that's not what is going to bring real change, tangible change into our lives. What is going to bring tangible change is to exercise our constitutional right to vote, and to make sure that right now we push for those reforms that are needed right now for us to be able to vote in a free and fair manner. That those reforms are done. Like what the people of Kariba have done, well done to the people of Kariba. What the people of Chipinge have done, well done to them. They have shown that they want change, and we saw what they have done. And I think that should be the objective. But will get us nowhere. They will get us nowhere.
All right, I really enjoyed this whole thing, Doc. To me, it looks like a comedy. Like I don't understand how people believe Susan Mutami. She's just a joke. But I think, honestly speaking, someone is trying something, and in Zimbabwe, if we end up with the situation that there's no proper transfer of power, there are people who would love that, who would love to have chaos. And I think they're also...
But Gambakwe, just know that is ZANU-PF's legacy. That is ZANU-PF's legacy, and in particular, President Robert Mugabe's legacy, that when there was time, they did not prepare for proper succession. Apana vacancy has always been the chorus, and it led us to 2017. It's unfortunate that if the current regime does not realize, or those who are at the top don't realize that history repeats itself, then this is the time when they should prepare for a proper succession. And a proper succession is when you start to groom someone and show that we are ready to leave the young generation in a teenage. But if you want to continue to say this is a feeding trough, and no matter what, we are not going to leave, then you put Zimbabwe in a very fragile situation. So that fragility that President Mugabe left is still with us. It's still with us. That who knows, another 2017 might happen again, because as long as there is no such, And these issues that we are seeing, these issues, if they are true, Gambako, these issues that we are seeing, Wana Susan Tammy exposing, if they are anything to go by, I'm not confirming them or saying, if they are anything to go by, then it's a dangerous situation. Like I said, dangerous factionalism, and in fact, factionalism within people who holds the levers of power and who have never been known to practice democracy is dangerous, and therefore the unfortunate part in Zimbabwe is that it becomes a tragic comedy. While it is a comedy, it's a very tragic one in that it doesn't give Zimbabweans a path to come out of this morass. So the only thing to do is Zimbabweans should come en masse out to register, to vote, and come 2023, vote for, so that we start from a new page. We want a new politics. We want a new narrative for our country. We want a new economy. We want everything that should be new. If you go, I was in South Africa, Gambakwe, that country is beautiful. And you know, that's why when you are sitting there, you know very well, you go, by the way, thanks for taking me to that beautiful hotel. That hotel was beautiful, man. Beautiful. And look, you can sit in there, eat a nice meal, good, and look at the bill. That bill was beautiful. I mean, but in Zimbabwe, you can't do that. You can't do that. So that's a Zimbabwe we want, not this Zimbabwe where we are being dragged to kumakuwa snabasa. And you know what? It's to silence, it's to divert us. It's a side show, this one, I'm telling you today, and it will bring nothing. But if it is true, the guys
I hear you.
The guys
I hear you, Doc, but I want to have my final word before you have yours. We've just gone for too long. Let me tell you what I think. And I want to answer Mesh on the screen. What is the major political event deal with the topic? And in my view, I've said this before, there is a third force in Zimbabwe, which is neither ZANU-PF or CCC. This third force is trying to destabilize the process of transfer of power because they know that President Mnangagwa is going into his last term. So what they've decided is this waiting for the next 5 years for President Mnangagwa to finish his term is too long. And they will do anything that they can to make sure that they try to interfere or to get in between that 5 years, or to make sure that those 5 years don't happen. I think I said this more than 3 or 4 months ago, that there's a third force. And this third force is very dangerous because it does not only want to remove President Mnangagwa, but it wants to remove the second layer, the people that are supposed to succeed him. So that's why it's a third force. It's not the first people, it's not the second people. It's not the people you expect. It's other people who think that they can get in, but then they need to remove the top layers first. That's why you see things like Susan's story. To me, it's not a simple story. There is a big strategy behind this whole thing. And CCC guys, they smile and laugh. They think it's a joke. But they might end up in a situation where they are right now, where they don't get in office, but other people do get in office, who are much smarter, more strategic. Because Zimbabwe, in terms of resources, it's very well resourced. There's no country with resources like Zimbabwe. And if a third force manages to take over now, you will never have peace in Zimbabwe again. Because Zimbabwe is very peaceful. Things have been happening, of course.
Okay, yeah. Gambakwe, before you go further and further, of course, well done for the conspiracy. Another conspiracy that well done. Because but to answer that Mesh's question, what is that major political event? The major political event that is about to happen is that which is coming in 2023, when the only alternative that seems to have sanity, that seems to have direction of how to run the economy, that seems to have the aspirations of the people at heart, the only alternative that has got policies which are talking to the real issues that people are grappling with, that is the Triple C. I think now is the time they are ready. I think many people will agree with me that this is a 2007, 2008 repeating itself. It is repeating itself. In whatever form there are similarities, and we saw the major opposition led by then Dr. Morgan Tsvangirai winning. It's unfortunate that there was no total, complete transfer of power to him. But this is exactly what is about to happen, Mesh. And it can only happen and can only be assisted by the citizens if they stop focusing on the peril issues as raised here. Gambakwe is telling us about a conspiracy theory. There are many conspiracies, and I'll tell you that. And if you ask the Jonathan Moyos, they will tell you of the conspiracies which were there even actually PF. But where did it take us to? Nowhere. The only thing we can do is to push for reforms now, participate in the constitutional, our constitutional mandate to vote in those we think are good administrators, and vote out those who have presided over a decaying economy such as ours.
Yeah, but Doc, I remember I promised to tell you that who I'm going to vote for in 2023. So today I want to start by telling who I will not vote for. Yeah, I will start by telling who I will not vote for.
No.
I will not. I will not waste my vote. What? I'm just about to tell you something, a secret.
No, I want you to let's all tell. You today you are telling who are you going to vote for. Let all Zimbabweans know.
No, I want to tell you who I will not vote for first.
No, tell us who you are voting for. We don't care about who you are not voting for. That one, just don't vote for them. It's fine. But I want to know who you are voting for.
So it's fine. I will wait a bit longer. Then I will tell you who I'm going to vote for. But there's a certain person that in his party that I won't vote for because of certain reasons.
It's your loss.
Yes.
It's your loss. It's unfortunate that when that very person wins, I'm sure you are going to build one of the biggest media empires, which will be domiciled in Zimbabwe. And you do it without looking over your shoulders. And you will get to taste what it means to say freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Because I think Gambakwe media then will operate. And it's unfortunate if you would not have voted, but I'm sure that party which you are about to say will embrace you and say, no, Zimbabwe, come and contribute. Even opposition which to contribute. So okay, I'll be patient. I'll wait. If you want to do it in December during Congress, during the Congress, I think you tell us then.
Okay, Doc. It's been very nice talking to you. And this might look like a silly topic, but in 2018, 2017, I saw a lot. There is a lot that can happen. And if you remember, people like Ese Lumumba, Tino Mambeo, they played a big part in big things that Kudamsa Sio, Pastor Ivan, Fadzai Mahere, they played a big part leading up to Operation Restore Legacy. Things that when you're looking at it, it looks silly. Trevor Ngube, these people, they were playing a big part in a change that we're being prepared for. And I have a feeling that right now we're just about to watch a big drama. And that drama, unfortunately, I think the person they're dealing with now is not the same as the person they were dealing with that time. So those are my last words. Is there anything else you want to say, Doc, before we close?
I think we have said enough today. The emphasis is basically that the only change that can come to Zimbabwe will be brought by Zimbabweans themselves. And to wait for ZANU-PF to create a narrative, to wait for ZANU-PF to set an agenda, is to fail ourselves. Like right now, they are setting an agenda, like I said, by creating these narratives, these stories, these because this basically gossip mongering, of course, sometimes mixed with some truths there and half truths and stuff like that. And their idea is that when they do that, then the attention is on ZANU-PF because it's publicity. People then focus on ZANU-PF. So my message to Zimbabwe is that let's not even entertain this. What we should entertain is to go and inspect the voters' roll. Right now, the inspection will be ending soon. Check if your name is there, and then prepare to encourage, to mobilize, to vote for change, because that's what most Zimbabweans, especially the younger generation, deserve. They deserve a new leadership. They deserve a leadership that understands the modern challenges and how to run a modern economy. And Zimbabweans, it's in our hands, and let's exercise that right. Those are my last words, Gambako.
Thank you very much, Doc, and good night to everybody. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Good night, Gambakwe.
Uyo, uko, kuno, abo, ano, mamuona gere nai. Ano vura meso, ano vura nzeve, ano kaya marigi. Doti como, wengere doti como usasarire. Ano kaya marigi.